to the home of Original Sports Perspective. From our couch to yours, I'm your host, Jermaine Lockett. And I got with me my boy T. Huddy, Trevor Hudson, coming in from California. How's it going, man?
How you doing, man? Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me on the couch today. Definitely a lot of great things we can talk about in the world of sports and giving the people the insight that we look for that you get out of this website.
Absolutely. Today we're going to start off with the NBA. I'm not that educated on NBA, but this is our resident expert here, so we're just going to go ahead and get it started. How do you feel about Cleveland? All this drama going on in Cleveland. They're still the top of the East, and they've only had 6 losses at home, I think 19 total. Why is everybody having hair on fire right now about this team not being able to finish?
You know, I think that the worst thing that happened in Cleveland was the Golden State Warriors. When you see a team that is excelling and they're getting to those type of accolades, it makes that great man LeBron James not look so great. When have you ever heard Stephen A. Smith say LeBron James one of the 2 best players in the NBA? Because his crown, that King James crown, is starting to slide because of the things that Steph Curry is doing. And with this Cleveland team, because they are in the subpar East compared to the West, everybody expects them to be just on the top of the hill. They should be having the same type of record that Golden State has. And the problem is the dynamics in Cleveland, they just don't work. Yep. And people keep fighting it, but Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James show is not what LeBron, it's what he envisioned, but it's not what he hoped for. Because that team aspect, that team ball, is just not there. And the players are having a harder time adjusting to it.
I fully agree, because I believe when LeBron went into the finals last year, he said it's the greatest player on the planet versus the best team on the planet. I think that's what makes Steph so great, is because honestly, I think the Golden State Warriors have that Popovich mentality. They got that team effort, and I think that teams don't know who they're going to hold when they come in there, because if you hold Steph, there's somebody else that's going to step up. And when you hold them, and when everybody's holding everybody, you can't double anybody on the Golden State Warriors because they're all equally dangerous in one way or another. They have perfect roles that mesh into one another. When it comes to Cleveland, I feel like it's the LeBron show, but it's also the Kyrie Irving, and then it's the Love show. Kind of like with the Heat before they pulled it together before the championship. We saw 3 superstars. We didn't see 3 teammates. And the way LeBron works normally, what I'm so impressed with is his Jordan aspect, to where he's able to pull in characters and make those role players work. That's how they actually got to the finals, but it just wasn't enough to finish last year. So I'd like to see that again, because I'm definitely rooting for LeBron. I mean, I like Curry, and I saw him in college then when he did his thing, and I was very impressed, and I was like, where did he fall off in 2 years when he joined the NBA? Then I was glad to see him pop back on again. I'm glad to see him get his ring, but I also want to see LeBron get one for Cleveland.
To be honest, as a Miami Heat fan, it's difficult for me to say I want to see LeBron do well. He made a decision to go back to Cleveland, so there's definitely some burning home feelings on that one. But you made a great point. The Golden State Warriors, you don't know who you're gonna get it. Who's going to give it to you on any given night? And the beautiful part of it, that team reminds me of compound interest. Yeah. You invest a little bit, and eventually your money starts to grow, and their money has grown. Yeah. Draymond Green wasn't highly touted. Yeah. Klay Thompson, not highly touted. Mm-hmm. Steph Curry, he may have the worst ankles of any professional athlete ever. Those 2 years that you mentioned, he was down with a sprained ankle. Yeah. And you don't hear that in today's sports world where an ankle injury is that significant. Then you take the other guys who they just piecemealing. Andre Iguodala, great career in Philly, did some good things in Denver, but he comes to Golden State and he's an all-star. He's the Finals MVP. Yeah. Then you look at another guy, Harrison Barnes. Once again, lottery pick. They kind of stashed him away for a little while. Nobody paid attention. Now Harrison Barnes is probably one of the best swings you can have in the game. Right. Not to mention you got Mo Speeds. Not to mention you still got Andrew Bogut. Not to mention you still have Festus Ezeli. They have people who know their role and they play it to the T in comparison to Cleveland. And now I pose this question to you. Everybody says LeBron and Jordan S. And they wonder why LeBron can't do it. He's got Kyrie Irving. He's got Kevin Love. Tristan Thompson, who's a rebounding machine. But the thing that LeBron has that no other player in his position has, and I think what's hurting him, is he has a point guard. Yeah. He has a ball-dominating point guard. Kyrie Irving needs the ball. Yeah. And when so does LeBron. Exactly. When he was with the Heat, there was no point guard.
Yeah, he was over there carrying the ball down court. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all got a point guard for a reason.
Mario Chalmers got to sit there and make 3-pointers every now and then. Whereas when he was with the Heat, it was a better fit for LeBron because you had a Dwayne Wade who was kind of going through some type of injury, so he would give you what you needed when he had it. You had Chris Bosh who was able to morph his game to establish that 3-point ball. And I don't know if you remember this, but if you go back when LeBron first went to Cleveland, they asked Chris Bosh how he felt about it with Kevin Love. And Chris Bosh said, it's going to take Kevin Love some time to learn how to play with LeBron.
Yeah.
Chris Bosh was a 20-10 guy when he was in Toronto. But when you get with a guy like LeBron James who demands a double team, who needs you to spread the floor to give him space to operate and makes things difficult. And in Cleveland, you got a lot of things to me going against you. Tyronn Lue, everyone knows Tyronn Lue from the Allen Iverson step over. What qualified him to be this phenomenal coach? I don't know. I'm not in the locker room.
No, I didn't get that either. I was like, how do you put that move in? I mean, this guy was a one-hit wonder. He played some decent D on AI before he got stepped over in those finals.
And now he was the highest paid assistant and got a multi-year deal as a head coach. Not an internship, which would be typical, but it just goes to show you that Cleveland, when they lost LeBron James, it didn't hurt them just as a team. It hurt the whole city.
Right.
And now they're doing everything they can to make sure they keep him. But the thing is, I don't think it's going to be enough. Because LeBron James' history always repeats itself. If he doesn't win long enough, he moves.
Yes.
He does not like to say, okay, I'm just going to stick around and just keep taking these losses.
I think it's the hardest thing for me when it comes to both NFL and NBA. There's no real loyalty to teams for most players now. Most time it's about, hey, let's go get the ring. Yep. And then after I get the ring, I'm going to go get the money. And then maybe I'll switch back to get another ring if my career is on.
If everything pans out.
If my talent.
But I think a reason why that happens is there's no loyalty in players, but there's no loyalty in these teams. Back when we were growing up, Patrick Ewing, New York Knicks, Reggie Miller, Indiana Pacers, Larry Bird, Boston Celtics. I didn't name the team. I named the player. When you name the player, you know the team
because they are the brand for that team.
But now you look at some of your greats. LeBron James, if his career ends today, what does he go in the Hall of Fame as? Miami Heat player, Cleveland Cavalier.
Cleveland Cavalier, even though he got the rings through Miami.
There goes the discussion. And that's where things get difficult. You look at some of these great players now. Andre Iguodala. This guy's been on 3 different teams, but he won a title in Golden State. But if that doesn't justify it, what does? So
Shaq even. I mean, I think that's where it begins. At is
Shaquille. I don't even know how many teams he was on.
I mean, you got the
Magic, the Lakers, the Heat, the Celtics, the Cavs, Phoenix. He did a little stint in Phoenix. Shaq just kind of moved around quite a bit. So the NBA it's an interesting time. But I will tell you this: these players ain't loyal. On the West, it is a 3-dog race. It is the Golden State Warriors. It is the San Antonio Spurs.
Absolutely.
And it is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Russell Westbrook is a grown man.
Absolutely.
What this young man does on the basketball court, you can't tell me in a 7-game series he can't give a team a chance. But if I have to pick one, it is hard to go against a team that is 60-6. The Golden State Warriors are on pace to beat the record that I never thought would be broken by those Bulls.
Chicago Bulls.
That's Chicago
72-10.
72-10, and I think they're going to break the record. And I kind of hope they do because I think it's great for the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, in the Eastern Conference, I'm going to try my best to be objective. Cleveland, they are the number 1 seed, and you have to respect them for where they are.
Right.
But then you also look at the Toronto Raptors. It's almost like a sleeping giant. And the last time they played Cleveland, they actually beat Cleveland. So this is a young team, a lot of young talent, who are at the number 2 seed in the East. So they're definitely a team to look out for. But do I think Cleveland can get them in a series? I think in a series they can.
So and honestly, I ain't heard nothing about the Toronto Raptors since Vince Carter.
And there you go. And that's what I'm saying. They're a sleeping giant.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the East, it's muddled. You got the Heat, you got the Celtics, you got the Charlotte Hornets, and the Celtics, they're doing it with no names. They might as well call themselves the Boston Blue Collars.
Yes.
Because I don't know many people who can name the starting 5 other than a diehard Celtic fan.
Yeah, no household names. That kind of reminds me of how the Spurs were for a while. You just didn't know who was who, And here they are with Popovich, and he's just plug and play. Let's get it done. This is my system. It kind of reminds me like the Patriots, where it doesn't matter who it is there. We're going to go ahead and get the job done with these people.
You know, the Spurs have one unique ability that I've never seen before in sports, and even better than the Patriots. I almost feel like if you play for the Spurs, you're good.
Yeah.
Whether you're on the bench or not. If Popovich puts you in a game,
you're probably from Europe.
You're from Europe, and he has some secret agent over there giving him classified files on these players.
Absolutely.
But out of the East, like I said, as a Heat fan, I would love to see my Heat do it. I do think they have the capabilities with the addition of Joe Johnson and some of the other pieces that they've added. And with Chris Bosh anticipating his return from blood clots, I think they are going to be a tough out. But it's hard to go against LeBron James. You know, he's had a great career. But the East, to me, is more up for grabs than people think. I don't think it's just locked, sold, and sealed. Cleveland's going to win it because I think Miami can beat them. I think Toronto can beat them. I think that's where the list about stops and when it comes to the East. So in the finals, I would say Golden State, Miami, but once again, a little bit from the heart.
A little bit biased there.
Little biased projection. But I don't see anybody stopping Golden State from winning the title again this year.
And that's what it's all about. It's about that original perspective. Yours is, I mean, it might be biased, but it's your perspective.
There you go.
And just thank you for joining today. Stay tuned for the next segment. We're going to hop on to the NFL. This is original sports perspective, from our couch to yours. This is the Couch Runners Report podcast. Thanks for tuning in.